Pro Football Focus has officially put out their power rankings for the 2024 season, and they've also included a full season outlook for all 32 NFL teams. So today on Steelers Talk, we're going to be breaking down all of the categories that they break down for the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting you ready for the 2024 campaign. These are some of the topics that are going to be discussed on today's show. The biggest strength for this team, the biggest weakness, the X factor for 2024, the rookie to watch, over under 7.5 wins, and then the overall ranking for the black and gold according to Pro Football Focus. Now listen, guys, PFF makes you pay a monthly fee for their premium content, all right? And listen, they have some nice stuff over there, but guess what? We're going to give you guys this content 100% free today because that's what we do here at Steelers Talk. We provide free premium content on the Pittsburgh Steelers every single day right here on YouTube. There is a reason why over 53,000 Yinzers have already clicked that subscribe button because you can't find Steelers content any better here on the YouTube platform. So really do appreciate everybody that has already clicked that subscribe button. If you want free premium Steelers content daily here on YouTube, make sure you join the 53,000 Yinzers and go ahead and click that subscribe button. Okay, now let's talk about the biggest strength here according to Pro Football Focus, which is the pass rush for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what the PFF staff had to say about the Steelers pass rush. There is perhaps no better pass rushing duo in football than TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. While Watt is a former Defensive Player of the Year who consistently racks up high pressure totals, Highsmith went more under the radar until a breakout 2023 season during which he totaled 8 sacks, 72 pressures, and a 90.0 PFF grade. And listen, guys, I completely agree with this designation from Pro Football Focus. This is the biggest strength of the Steelers roster. There's no doubt about that. They didn't even mention Cam Hayward, Keanu Benson, who's going to be a freaking monster this year as well. It's going to be tough for opposing quarterbacks to really handle the pressure that this Steelers defensive line is going to be able to put on them. So predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Steelers lead the NFL in sacks this year? I certainly think they could. Give me a yes or a no down there in the comments section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. And when that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or no. All right, now the biggest weakness, according to Pro Football Focus, is the offensive line. Still, even after the additions they have made this offseason, this is what PFF has to say about the offensive trenches. The highest graded pass blocker from last season's unit was Isaac Seumalo at just 66.4. The Steelers heavily invested in their line in the draft and will be counting on a lot of youth to keep their quarterback upright, which could lead to some early season struggles. So listen, man, I think we all understand that this is a younger offensive line, and they're going to have to grow up pretty quickly here. This is a team that expects to compete this year with Russell Wilson at quarterback, and they're really going to be relying on the offensive line to be really solid this year. But you got 3 guys on that offensive line, Broderick Jones, Zach Frazier, and Troy Fautanu. All those guys are either in their first year or in their second year in the league. And Broderick played pretty much no left tackle last year. Played a little bit there, but played mostly right tackle. So it's going to be pretty new playing on the left side in the NFL this year. So it's a lot of young pieces that are playing their respective positions for pretty much the first time in the NFL as starters this year. But I do think that the leadership of Isaac Seumalo and James Daniels, who are really solid pros, should help them out. And overall, the talent level is absolutely there for the Steelers this year. So I do think that this offensive line is going to be just fine. I think they're definitely up to the challenge. It is young. They are going to have to grow up quickly. But you know what? With the coaching that the Steelers have in-house right now, with Arthur Smith coming in with his experience coaching offensive linemen, with Mike Tomlin making sure he gets the most out of everybody, I definitely think this is going to be a lot better in terms of the offensive line production that we've seen as of late. And I don't think it's the biggest weakness. I think the biggest weakness on this roster right now is a lack of cornerback depth. Now, you have Joey Porter Jr., who I think we all acknowledge is a lockdown number 1 guy, no problem there. But Dante Jackson, he's dealt with injuries when he's been on the field. He hasn't been fantastic, let's say. But the Steelers clearly love him because they traded Deontay Johnson straight up for him, essentially. So obviously they have big hopes for Dante Jackson. But the slot cornerback position, we've been talking about it all offseason. They haven't really addressed it. Right now, Josiah Scott is getting first-team reps at slot corner. He's never really been a true starter at that position throughout his career, and for good reason. He's not very good. And then you got Corey Trice Jr. and Darius Rush, who you're hoping at least one of those guys can kind of develop here. So, they definitely there's definitely question marks here at the cornerback position, and I think it's probably the biggest weakness here on the Steelers roster right now. So still to come here on Steelers Talk, we're going to be breaking down the X factor for the Steelers in 2024, a rookie to watch, over under 7.5 wins, not 6.5 wins there, and then the overall team ranking here. So before we get into that, I want to talk about our sponsor today at PrizePicks, and a big shout out to PrizePicks for helping us out on today's show. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and use our code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100 today. It's absolutely fantastic, guys, because they have specials for new and returning users alike for the NBA Finals when you head on over to prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today. The finals mean more on PrizePicks, and so do the star players. You get boosted payouts on select basketball stars that you won't find anywhere else. PrizePicks is also America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. You can get in on the daily action with your friends right now and become a part of the PrizePicks community today. So here is a little bit of my early projections here for Game 1 of the NBA Finals here between the Mavs and Celtics. I'm going to take the more on Daniel Gafford's rebounds. I'm going to take the more on Derek White points at 14.5, and I'll take the less on points for Jason Tatum at 27.5. PrizePicks is super easy to play, guys. All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and then watch the winnings roll in. You can get started now if you haven't already at prizepicks.com/CLNS or download the PrizePicks app today and get a first-time deposit match up to $100 when you use our code CLNS. With our friends at PrizePicks, you can pick more or you can pick less. It's that easy. So Pro Football Focus thinks that the X factor for the Steelers next season will be whoever wins the quarterback battle, so they say. So this is what they had to say about the Steelers quarterback situation. Perhaps the one true training camp QB battle this offseason will take place in Pittsburgh as the Steelers acquired Russell Wilson and Justin Fields to compete for the starting QB job. Mike Tomlin's decision on whom to go with this season will be huge towards the Steelers' chances of making a postseason return. So listen, guys, it's been well reported by people that are, closely within the building, and even Tom Pelissero said it to Rich Eisen earlier this week. There is no competition at the quarterback position, at least not right now, all right? The team is getting behind Russell Wilson. The team is telling its players, the locker room, they've told Russ and Fields that Russ is expected to be the guy this year. There's not going to be an open competition, and unless Russ really falls off a cliff or if there's an injury of some sort, Justin Fields isn't going to have a chance to start week 1. It's going to be Russell Wilson week 1 versus the Atlanta Falcons. And then from there on, it's going to be his job to lose. So it's going to be Russ that is going to be the major X factor. Not necessarily Justin Fields, even though if he comes in, he'll be a big X factor moving forward. But Russ is going to be that major X factor for the success of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Because really the only way you're going to Fields at this point is if there's A, an injury, or B, the team is struggling and you have to go in a different direction and the season is essentially already lost at that point. So if you're going to have a successful season, it's going to have to be, most likely, unless there's an injury, with Russell Wilson at quarterback. And, I do think he's an X factor, but I think another X factor we should be talking about here is offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Because, yes, the quarterback is extremely important in terms of the success of this team this year. We just saw that last year with Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky, not playing good football, how that affected this football team. But also you need a good offensive coordinator, and we saw that with Matthew Canada last year, who was absolute dog crap as an offensive play caller. He's one of the worst in football, if not the worst. So if Arthur Smith comes in and he doesn't know what he's doing, this is going to be another year of lackluster offensive football for the Steelers. But if he comes in and he knows what he's doing, that's going to help out the quarterback, that's going to help out the run game, that's going to help out everything, and this team is finally going to ascend and get back to legitimate Super Bowl contention. And it really is this simple, guys. I said it last year with Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada. It's going to be the same thing this year with Russ and Arthur Smith. If the quarterback and the offensive coordinator know what they're doing, this roster is good enough to compete for a championship, period. All right? But if you don't have that offensive coordinator, if you don't have a good quarterback, things are going to be very difficult for you getting past 10 wins, and you're not going to win a playoff game with a bad OC and a bad quarterback, all right? So if you don't have these two things, it really puts a cap on just how far the team can go. But if Russ and Arthur Smith know what they're doing, and I think they do, this team can really go places in the postseason this year. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you haven't already. If you are Steelers Talk Real One, you've clicked that subscribe button, you like all of our videos, you watch to the end, you watch all of our videos, all that great stuff. I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we love to do, and that's talk Steelers football every single day. So if you want to help this video be the best it can be, make sure you click that thumbs up icon right now. Now, Pro Football Focus says the rookie to watch is Peyton Wilson, the inside linebacker from NC State. This is what they had to say about the rookie from NC State here. Peyton Wilson was the 30th ranked player on the Pro Football Focus big board heading into the draft, yet fell all the way to number 98 in large part because one of his knees does not have an ACL. That being said, he hasn't missed significant time due to injury since 2021, and his game tape over the past 2 seasons has been of high quality, particularly in 2023. So listen, guys, I can't wait to see Peyton play. He's the early returns on him from OTAs and rookie minicamp have been fantastic. He looks like a future green dot out there. Super intelligent player, instinctual, and he's got a great physical profile as well, despite not having that ACL in his knee. But he looks like somebody that's going to be a star for this team next to Patrick Queen for many years to come. But I would say my rookie to watch is Roman Wilson, the wide receiver, because especially if the Steelers don't bring in another wide receiver here, Roman's going to be expected to really grow up quickly, like a lot of the offensive linemen here, and he's going to have to be a legit number 2 receiving option if this Steelers passing attack is going to be worth its salt. I mean, you can have George Pickens, but if he's your only legitimate receiving threat, it's going to be a million double teams, and, Steelers offense is just not going to be able to keep defenses honest with that kind of wide receiver room. They need a number 2 legitimate wide receiver threat. Can Roman Wilson, a rookie, be able to get that job done? Everything that I've seen from him at Steelers OTAs to this point tells me he absolutely could, but I guess only time will tell when it comes to Roman. Now, let me know down there in the comments section which Steelers rookie will make the biggest impact in 2024. Do you think it'll be Zach Frazier, Troy Fautano? Will it be Peyton Wilson, or will it be Roman Wilson? Let me know down there in the comments section which rookie do you think makes the biggest impact here in year 1. Then Pro Football Focus says with the over-under 7.5 wins right now for the Steelers, they project that they're going to get over that number. This is what the PFF staff had to say about their win total. While the AFC North didn't get any easier, the Steelers should be improved on offense regardless of who wins the starting quarterback job. Even if the offense doesn't improve as the team hopes, the defense should be good enough to win them some games that they probably shouldn't, just like they did last year a couple of times. So listen, guys, I absolutely agree. Pittsburgh, I think, is a sleeping giant, okay? Especially if, like we talked about, Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith, both of those guys hit, and both of those guys are legitimate, quarterback and offensive coordinator duo, then the Steelers are going to be a title contender, in my opinion. This defense is too good. The pass rush is too good. The run game is going to be too good. And then if Russell Wilson knows what he's doing in the pass game and they can get enough weapons around him to have a good enough passing game to really keep defenses honest, this is going to be a team that's really hard to stop, because with Mike Tomlin at the helm, he's going to get the most out of this roster. And if he has as complete of a roster as we think we have here in Pittsburgh, that's going to mean, potential division crown, and then also another playoff win for the first time in a long time. And if you can win a playoff game, you can win multiple playoff games, and who knows how far the Steelers can go. So Pro Football Focus right now ranks the Steelers about middle of the pack. And I think a big reason for that is because nobody knows what to make of the quarterback situation. Nobody knows if Russell Wilson is going to have a bounce-back season this year. You have to pretty much project him to do that because he's played so poorly the last 2 years, particularly in 2022 under Nathaniel Hackett. So you are making a bit of a projection if you think the Steelers are going to be a Super Bowl contender, but I think it's reasonable to think that Russell Wilson and Arthur Smith are going to be the 2 missing pieces that this team was missing last year that's finally going to get this team back in title contention. Now, fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. The Steelers have a top blank roster in the NFL. Pro Football Focus says 16th, middle of the pack in the NFL. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because, again, Pro Football Focus makes you pay a monthly fee for this type of content. We're giving it to you guys 100% free because we're nice guys here at Steelers Talk, and that's what we do. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now for the best damn Steelers content for free here on YouTube.